Hello and welcome back for 86, episode 4. Last time on, we had a totaling up something like 30-minute long discussion about a pretty good, not character death. I established this in the thing, not character death, but a very good characterization punch to the faces. I think straight punch of characterization is what I named it. In the last episode, and for a reason, because we have effectively shaken one of our dual protagonists to their core at this point. We have, in probably the most straightforward, violent, and aggressive ways, shaken the entire foundation of this character that we built up for 2.5 episodes. So, looking forward to however we continue on that with that. You know what? I should have done my research before I went into this. Give me 1 second. Yes. All right. Just wanted to do a quick refresher to make sure that there wasn't anything in the previous episode in which any comments, that I missed that were anything important going into it. A lot of fun facts, information that this first core is going to be mostly all in the first volume, which sounds amazing to me that we managed to have that much material to go through. I'll look forward to how that looks like. Also, yes, I can understand Japanese. However, I took 4 years of it in high school, and my professor loved me because I was very good at understanding it and I had pretty okay pronunciation. However, as soon as kanji got introduced and we were given that giant packet of, hey, memorize like a page of these every day, every week, no, it just never happened. And like that was in year 2, and so for 2 years, you just went, dude, I'm not going to be able to give you a better grade than what you're getting. And I went, I like Japanese class. So yeah, I'm not gonna be able to read that, but it's all good. I'm probably gonna pick up this novel once I finish this first course, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get into our first episode. What the heck? Let's get into episode 4. Oh, we're just picking up here. Oh, we're not done. Okay. We're not done. Hey, listen, can I get just 1 minute? I understand. Oh, we're gonna finally now. Okay. No, get the whole twit longer out. Then okay, maybe that was a lot. Super fair. I like you, Raiden. Damn. Oh, we do get to see it. Wow, yeah. Okay. You just watched? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. If I ever do, because I want to do like rewatches on this channel, because I want to do like episode by episode analysis of things, so I kind of want to watch things that I've already watched, but with a analytical view. If I ever get to Attack on Titan, I want to talk about how Attack on Titan has its own version of OPs that kind of not ruin the mood, but are so aggressively against the mood that it makes me laugh out loud. This one is one of them. Like, man, I'm still in oof. That was like watching a friend get real pissed at somebody. You have to go, ooh. So, we still playing Ninja Storm or and just Jibu wo sekai wa tera, and I'm sorry. Anyway, back to the episode. All right, it's a fine OP, by the way. Like I know you do. Okay, you had a relationship with Kaie to some level. Better just the idea that you got that pissed messing with you. Ooh. Focus. It really does look like a fox. Doesn't matter. It looks better than anything I can draw. Interesting that we're emotionally cool enough with each other that we can even ask that. Got it. Hmm? I'm gonna do this for the first time ever. I'm gonna pause the middle of a thing so that I can get I have a real bad tendency of letting an episode move on, because I want to catch every line, and so I don't make as many comments as I want to in an episode. I'm gonna try to fix that for my other reactions, because I think Haikyuu really suffers from that. But I think what this show's about to do, we're gonna have emotional support and like keep it moving this from over here, and then we're gonna move over to Lena, and that's not what's gonna be happening. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna leave this in even if I'm wrong. I don't really take myself out if I say something stupid that's wrong. I don't mind that. I'm just saying. It's anyway, continuing on.
あといつもボタン1個だけ止めてるのもいいでしょ別に
He's edgy. He's at that phase. I used to carry my jacket on my shoulders in high school. I don't know why. It just is what I did. Shut up. God, that was so cringy. Why did I do that?
隊長だったらなんて言ったかなあのハンドラーに
It's interesting that you're...
もうパラレイドつなげてこないだろうし
I care a little bit. That's actually like super... I'm feeling a little bit like we went too far. Maybe. Something like that. Huh. Okay. Now will we have a peaceful night? I say peaceful as if it's unpeaceful ever. Think, oh.
何かご用でしょうかハンドラー1
They flip over. This show keeps doing this. And you know what? Because I want to say, is it to a level that's goofy? And I just think that's to a level that's cool. But like, I have a tendency of anything that's like unusual, I find super cool when you tell me a story. So just this anime aggressive split the episode into view over here, view over there. I'm like, it's so fun. But we're eventually gonna have to drop, because we can't have every episode be 10 minutes characterization on one side, 10 minutes characterization on the other side, a little bit of synchronization. This happened for 4 episodes straight, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, it's so cool. It's not even cool. It's making me go. I'm just smiling here. All right, let's go. Sorry.
レーナも結局共和国人ってことよ。私たちは私たちの世界で生きていくものなの。
Realism.
彼らと一緒に戦う。
Well, that's just fundamentally not what. Yeah.
今のレーナがすべきことは自分を甘やかすことよ。
Spoiling yourself.
この世界はね、こっそりプリンが食べられる素晴らしい世界なのよ。
That is very well. Your world is certainly.
だいたい名前なんて知る必要ないじゃない。
I mean, yeah, that was her thought. That's the problem with it. Half-assed.
彼らを人間として扱っていなかったの。
It's true.
本当にそう思っていたら、真っ先に名前を聞いたは
That's
ず
the
よ。
point of what she's saying, though. She's realizing there's still a problem.
何もできないから、こ
Ooh,
こにはプリン、向こうにはない。
true.
彼らと違うの。
This is also true. Now that's realism, but we're looking for idealism. That's the point of stories.
研究部に来なってば。
No,
だから、
I don't want to. I'm not a nerd.
ひどいこと
9 years,
や
huh?
めさせなければこんな
That's
こと
still
は
so recent. Like, what was year 1 like? It had to have been crazy, right? I'm so interested. I want my episode of San Magnolia focus. All right, understood. Went there, tried to take a look at it.
見られたことは良かったと思って
Yeah,
い
that's fundamentally what makes you different. Experience of the unpleasant.
の現実を知ることができた。
Yes, indeed.
共和国が捨ててしまった理想を抱くことができた。
I mean, grasp is saying a lot. You got a whiff of it. That was all.
自分が他の共和国人と同じ高みの見物をしていたに過ぎないことだ。どれほど平等を語っても所詮は人事。
Partially true but simplified to the point of being talk about later.
あまりに無知で愚かだった。
I wouldn't disagree with that. That's why my name is Antagonist Advocate. But you can't help but admire fools, because villains get to be. I don't want to put that. Because villains get to be realists and to control their world through understand the realism of it. And yet, protagonists get to be fools who idealize their world by trying to fight against what normal people would call real. I don't think I articulated myself very well, but that's the thesis behind why I'm the antagonist advocate. Just villains are cool, and I also respect heroes, but I don't like them as much, even though I understand that they do good things. Anyway, a bunch of crap that we really don't believe in. Not really. 幻想というのは手が届かないほど高いから理想というのだよ。届かないと知りながらなお追い続けるのは愚かで卑怯なことだとは思わないかね。Not at all. Foolish? Cowardly? No. Hold on, let me just make sure that he's foolish and cowardly. Foolish, yes. Cowardly, absolutely not. Man, is this an episode where I get to talk about my fundamental beliefs in heroes and villains in media? Maybe. Probably not. Also, I just realized that I kind of said the thesis of what this conversation is before the conversation was done. Giving myself a gold star right there. Subscribe, like the video. I continue to not say that at the beginning of the video because I'm an idiot. So, how do we rebuild from being broken down? Screw that guy, and screw you, my best friend, screw you, uncle, and screw you, best friend. Nah, this world could be better. Get pissed at it and keep going? That's what I'm down for. A war cemetery, huh? Okay, this is the place to do it. Now, how can this conversation go? Because Shen is kind of the least human of our squad to have this conversation with. So we can have a real moment here. Or you know, I don't want to pause during the scene. I would try to like find the words to say what I mean by a real moment here. But you know what? I'm gonna just continue on. We'll talk about it later. True. Isn't empathy so interesting? Like, that's a real thing from both sides of just dehumanize people, because if not, then it messes with you. So the entire point of military training is to dehumanize, take all that empathy out of you as much as you can. Mm-hmm. His real name was Raiden. Also, I'm gonna have to... I'll do this later. I'm right there with you, Lena. I just need to focus. I can't write and focus at the same time. Okay. Now, is that the public promise or is that the actual promise? Now, does he have the number? 561. Jeez. That is definitely not one box then. I mean, you had a... abort! 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 Ooh! Is that an ending transition? Okay. Alright. That's not the OP. That's not the ED song, is it? Okay, somebody really wanted to do... Somebody really liked this production. This material. Was like, yo, we're gonna adapt the hell out of this. Good. Now, how are we feeling? How you said it? Yeah. Oh, okay.
あんたと同じアルバだった。86最前線まで戻ってきた物好きでさ。
He returned. Oh, there are people who can straight up. So we have a more sympathetic group than I would think.
まず最初に謝っとく。あんたが毎晩繋いでくるのを俺たちは
聖女気取りの偽善者の豚が
Okay, we're
自分の豚加
immediately
減に
got
気
it.
づきもしねえでおめでたいって笑ってた。
Jesus.
それについては
Thank you.
相手をしてやるが、個人的にはそれも進めねえ。やめた方がいいぜ。
That was the realest of the real that I've ever heard in my life. That was the realest. Are we friends? Much funner result than I would think.
あの
I'm not
あなた
very
の名前を
excited
聞
for
い
our
ていない
lowest
と
point.
思うのですが、もしかして名乗りたくない
We
で
have
す
to
か？
get there.
いえ、ただ忘れていただけです。失礼しました。新鋭ノーゼンです。
ノーゼン、もしかして奨励ノーゼンという方をご存知ではありませんか？
Of course.
兄です。
All right.
私も一緒に。
Oh, my whole lighting's different now because I had to open my door for. I have it's like right in front of my door. Hold on one second. I'm gonna try to fix that as well as get my cat out because he wants to go out now. 1 second. So, find myself in an interesting situation, which is that what do I want to talk about for this episode? I'm thinking about how deep into it I want to get and how I feel cool with going that deep into it. I don't think I have 20 minutes of talking for this episode, but I have something that I really want to talk about, but I want to talk about it in a really specific way. However, I know that I need to edit a different video late tonight because I'm late on it. I'm gonna take a break. I will see you guys in 1 second. All right. This is gonna be a long one, and I hope it is not, but we're gonna see. So in opposition of last time, I've gone ahead and I've written down my thoughts on this episode so that I'm hoping it'll be a little bit shorter than last time. I have a tendency to I'm trying not to ramble. I'm trying to make these solid, but sure ain't working. All right, so to start us off, and let me go ahead and be very transparent here. The thing that I want to talk about may pass by a kind of political, is that the word that I want to use? And not uncomfortable subject, but a cancelable subject. Okay, let's be honest here. I'm a little bit early in my career, be canceling myself, but we're gonna just go into it because it has a very specific point. And let's say I have a unique perspective, thought process, unique perspective on what I want to talk about here. Wow, this isn't going to help at all. I thought that writing it down would help me a lot. I just wrote down like the topics so that I wouldn't get lost. But the words to go down the topic is really hard. When you have people that are oppressed, right? You reach a point where, of course, you're going to have hatred towards the people that oppress you, correct? However, not more important, but what I want to talk about is not the hatred towards the people that oppress you here. It is the righteousness of that hatred, right? And I think righteousness is like one of the scariest words in the English language. It was one of the scariest ideas, concepts in anything, really. And what I mean by that is the idea that something can be 100% just is fundamentally wrong. And I know this is a only the Sith deal an absolutes thing, but the idea that there is anything that you can do that can be believed to be by the machinations, the beliefs of God, the world, science, whatever you believe in is the absolute pillar of morality, logic, whatever it is an absolutely correct choice or a feeling or whatever is not how the world can work. things can be correct, but for a thing to be righteous means that there is no other way that that thing can be done. From that, and from my experiences with that, from having the idea of having this perspective of going through my life, being raised in America where I am, as has led to me receiving from relatives, from classmates, from just society as a whole, this idea that I have this, that I'm supposed to have this righteous hatred towards being instilled with the idea that in any way having an absolutely correct hatred of against a group of people, and not just, you know, by skin color, not just, you know, people of the paler persuasion, but against like police officers, against whatever, right? Didn't sit right with me. I don't think there's many that it sits perfectly right with, but there's a lot of people who grow up with that, and it becomes something that's just part of who you are. It's like it's a card in your deck that at any point you can pull out your Master Exodia card that says my righteous hatred towards blank, right? And I think a lot of societies have that. And in the West, in fact, I think every society has that. And every society, to some level, has had a oppressed people in it. They either have oppressed people, they've been oppressed by other people, whatever, right? The thing is that together with that, over here in the West, and really the further west you go, if you consider the US to be as far west as you can go, and then let's say that like Japan and China were as far as east as you can go, the more west you go, the more there's a idea, a culture of being open about that oppression. And what that has caused is, in our media, that feeling of righteous hatred has kind of become normal. Listen, I'm not the person that should be talking about this, but basically, where I'm trying to go with this is that because of the normalcy of a righteous viewpoint of feelings like this, when we reached this episode, I came in thinking that I would get something like a condemnation of Lena, right? An absolute, from the view of our oppressed character, he was 100% right in saying everything they said in the last episode, right? And even in my last reaction, right, I said the things they said were correct, because how else could you feel, right? But when I said that, I meant it more in, I mean, I just said the word, it was correct, but I don't know if it was righteous to say what he said. And I was expecting a feeling of righteousness from at least Theo in this episode, but I didn't get that. Instead, interesting. So right away, I was just like those, and same trepidation of why I had to really think about my words going into this discussion is the same reason why I will continue to say Shirobuta, just because it feels a little bit weird to be saying something that close. I'm sorry, but I will. But he says I was just like those Shirobuta, those Albas. I still haven't found out if that's the name of the race. I'm guessing that's the name of the race. I'm going to use context there. But immediately, we don't even have a moment of feeling righteous for this. Immediately, I was just like them. I also had this feeling of righteousness. I righteously let out all my disgusting feelings, and I treated this other person like they weren't a person, just one of these Shirobuta on the other side of my speaker, right? That's good. Immediately, I'm so. This discussion is going to be so long. Oh no, I hate it. So in my life, right, I've known a lot of people that would be considered, and I've been friends with a lot of people that would be considered people you shouldn't hang out with. And it's more than one. It's many more than one, actually. I have like an empathy with people, so I have a lot of friends who are people who people would say stay away from because they do this, what Theo does here, which is that at whatever triggers them, they would become the worst, most insane, out of control, disgusting version of themselves that they can imagine. And they would let that take themselves over, and it would just go off. And I have seen many a times people do this where near immediately afterwards they go, I did it again. I went too far. And whenever that happens to them, without fail, every time, the immediate response is people around them going, dude, you shouldn't have done that. He's reading Moby Dick. That's hilarious. Dude, you shouldn't have done that. I can't believe you went off like that. I can't believe you did that. You need to control yourself. That was so messed up. But that's not, they know that already. Because just because they do that, just because they go off like that, doesn't mean that they don't have self-reflection. Yeah, there are people who don't self-reflect after something like that, and they're pieces of garbage, and they get them out of your life. But I've also met a lot of people who do self-reflect and immediately go, man, I did wrong there. And hearing people go, man, you're a piece of garbage. I can't believe you said all that, just gets them more pissed off. Because why would you talk like that? Treat them like a human being. Dude, I heard what you did. That was a lot, but we'll move on from it. Okay. I'm gonna stop with my profound pauses here, and we're gonna just continue going through the episode because I want to talk about this because I'm feeling this. This is far too close. When I started the series, I did not expect. When I started the series, I did not go in hoping to see something that was going to be close, I'm going to say. I'm liking it. I'm just saying. I stumbled into a bear trap, and I'm caught, and I'm bleeding, and I'm being chased by hunters who are following me and tracking me, and I wasn't prepared for this. We're like team. All right. Cute cat, cute moving on. Nobody talks about what we did. By the way, I flipped past it, but last episode I also said, oh, we're going to just let him talk like that. And in this episode, we did see that he got his whole thing off his chest, and then they were like, okay, let's move on. Hold on. Let's just unsync and move on from here. So that tells us quite a bit about like their mindset at the time, right? Is you're correct. That was a lot, but you're correct. So we're gonna let you say what you say, but then they stop him. And back to what I was saying about like the people around them immediately say, hey man, what you did was so incorrect. And yet, I minimized it. That's gonna look weird. I'm sorry. Here, you get a little bit of love. You move on past it. Nobody condemns him, and nobody commends him either. And here we go. I pausing it just right. Wasn't a good way to say it, but you're reminded of your old captain. That old. I have it written down. What did I write it down as a thing I was going to say? That old noble swine is how I'm going to refer to it. Not a Shirabuta, a noble swine. You have someone to look up to. So it'll always be important to you. I've never had someone like that. How long in the episode was that even? That was 6 minutes in the episode before we switched over. Huh? So little time, yet did so much. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then we go over to Lena. Right? Man, it would be so hard. This channel is kind of meant to be like the in-between of a video essayer and a like hype man reaction channel. Like I want to watch an episode, try to absorb as many themes and narrative tricks as I can, and then speak them, you know, after they're done to show why they were so effective, why they were so cool. But if I was a video essayer and I wanted to catch every little thing, it'd be so hard, because I see this shot of her looking at this flower, right? And I've heard through another reactor about like how this flower gets replaced. It dies and then it gets replaced. And that kind of is supposed to represent the processors. But if I had to like I would go back through, if I was like trying to build a thing by myself, I would have to go back through so many episodes and just try to see as many times of this flower hanging around, and the theming, the message trying to be brought through by the first thing we see Lena doing is staring at this half wilting flower. I don't even know if it's wilting, but this flower in this pot, I don't know. There's reasons why I'm a reaction channel. Is what I'm trying to say. All right. So then we go over to Lena, right? And Lena gets help from her friend, right? She goes to her friends, right? Theo's friends. Yeah, what you said wasn't great. Sorry, I know that putting down my mic doesn't help. Theo's friends. Yeah, what you said wasn't great. There's probably smarter ways that you could have said that. But it wasn't incorrect, right? They probably smarter ways you could have said that. Move on, right? That's how they do it. Don't condemn, don't commend. Lena's friends, first thing said, in the end, it just shows that you are who, you know, you're a Republic citizen. You are who you are. And they should have found that out by now. Why did I take this headphone off to put it back on? Shut up. Don't worry about it. And you just need to accept that we live in separate worlds. Realism. Just accept that there's no way to make all of that better. You should be spoiling yourself. You should be just enjoying your life, where you get all these wonderful things, this wonderful foods, this wonderful air, this wonderful safety that you get to live. The idea of saying the world is a wonderful, wonderful place, as we are just talking about these people who are suffering from our decisions. This world that, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is another comment that I read that I was supposed to talk about. If I'm not mistaken, San Magnolia thinks that the entire world outside of the walls is dead. Like that the Legion cleared out every other kingdom around, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't know if that's entirely true, but if that's the case, the idea that this wonderful dead world is wonderful. And there's no softness. There's no scientist lady gonna scientist lady. No softness, no bringing it down. If you thought that they were your friends, you would have asked their names. You didn't, because they aren't. You're never gonna meet them. They're just 86. Stop being a fool. You should listen to what I tell you. Human. Then we get the flashback of her father. Father felt the problems with what they were doing, and in his own foolish way, his choice was, I will bring you to the forefront so you can see what exactly we're doing here. Get me closer. I want to see it. And then he gets punished for it. And by her story from last episode, she gets saved. Yeah, that'll do it. And I was able to grasp the ideals that the Republic threw away. Barely. You brushed past it, Lena. You didn't really, like, how can I say this? You haven't grasped anything. You've just been, you've been giving the earworm, the spark, there's a fire there, but you aren't burning down the forest yet. You're just hot. I don't know if that makes incredible sense, but I feel like that's a pretty okay way of putting it. You have the wisps of the ideal, but you haven't done anything about it. Nothing. And that's what the uncle says. Yep. Just like everybody else, he didn't do anything about it. He just watched. The fact that he did something so reckless for the sake of his ideals proves his ignorance and stupidity. His stupidity, maybe. His ignorance? I don't know about that. Then he just glorious self-burn here. Hey, what does our flag stand for? Freedom, equality, brotherhood, justice, and yeah, a bunch of crap. Have you seen any of that ever here? Nah, dog. This is the Republic. You don't do none of that here. Congratulations. Look at the real world over and over again. Look at the real world. Realism. Look at the way things are. This is how it is forever. Too focused on ideals. Ideals are ideals because they're unattainable. No, we have one more line before I can say something. If you're aware that those ideals are impossible to attain, don't you think it would be a foolish and cowardly endeavor to seek them out? Let me just make sure. Okay, cool. That is his last line. This is really early for me to be pulling this out. I am the antagonist advocate. The reason I chose that name is because I was going to make a video essay channel where I was going to talk about antagonists and different stories and how cool they were. Because I love antagonists. Because antagonists get to be the ultimate. An antagonist gets to be the ultimate crystallization of realism. They are the people who will fall to the corruption of this cruel, cruel world. And from that, they become, they gain the power to change the world. This unchanging, cruel world, they can change it by becoming like it. And thusly, they change nothing. That is the basic core idea. Hold on, let me get rid of it. My screen's really bright and it keeps messing with my brightness of my face. But that is the ultimate core idea of what makes an antagonist. They have an ideal. They allow that ideal to get corrupted for the sake of getting more power to obtain said ideal that is now corrupted. And inevitably, they just create more of the same. And in that way, I think they're... how can I say this? I think a lot of people see the corruption of an ideal and they go, man, you're an idiot because now your ideals are corrupted and you've gained all the power, but you can't do the justice that you want to do. And I go, no. A good antagonist should make me just feel a little bit like maybe they can obtain that ideal. And I think that those antagonists are so fucking cool and I love them. And yeah, I would sell out the whole human race and 50% of us would die. But do I get a jetpack and world peace afterwards? Maybe I could. If I sacrifice all my friends to the Crimson Bayonet, could I maybe make Falconia and it's pretty cool? Maybe. Come on, come on, dude. It's like 50 people that died horribly. Yes. But how many people are in my new kingdom, though? How many people are gonna fit in my castle? But I lost myself a little bit there. I'm sorry. But on the other hand of that, on the other side of that, as somebody who really likes antagonists, I of course love heroes, because how couldn't I? A good antagonist actually respects a hero, because a hero gets to be someone who has an uncorrupted ideal and maybe the power to make it happen. But their ideals keep them from using that power, and thusly their ideals aren't corrupted. And maybe somewhere in between all of that, we get a result where we can turn this cruel world to a little bit closer. Oh my God, my grammar. We get to turn that cruel world a little bit closer towards an ideal one. So fundamentally, the line, don't you think it to be a foolish and cowardly endeavor to seek out your ideals? No. Foolish? Absolutely. Cowardly? Hell no. That line actually makes me like legitimately a little bit angry. That is like, no. Fundamentally, no. You're wrong. All right. So we're at like an hour of footage already. So we're going to go a little bit for it. And I think, so after having that whole episode, right? And I don't know if I already said this, but my expectation of this episode was that Theo was going to be like feeling righteous in his idea, and maybe some of the crew would be like, no, you shouldn't have done that. And maybe some of the crew would have been like, yeah, you should have done that. Screw her, right? No, it's not what we got. We got introspection. For Lena, I thought she would be shattered from this. She would have no support. Everybody would say, no, you're silly. She would be broken from it, and that in some way we'd have to build her back up. No. Instead, we bring her down further. We say we shatter her, what she thought of herself, and then we continue to say, well, that was stupid, and and everybody around her tries to build her back up to being what she should be like, what the realistic her should be like. And she says to that, no. I'm going to continue to be an idiot. I will continue to be a fool. I will be so brave. And I will go up, and I'll put my choker, psychic link, whatever thing up, and I'll face the music. And it'll make me seem like an idiot. It'll make me seem dumb. It'll make me seem maybe not like a good person. Maybe it'll make me... Maybe I'm taking a risk here. But I'm going to ask for their names. I'm going to continue to be this fool. I'm going to make my ideals reality. Respectable. And then we get all the names in the episode, and I didn't write any of them down, and I'm probably going to do that later. Undertaker takes everybody's tags and brings them to their final destination. I still think that he has their consciousnesses in him as well, and that's why because he says that's part of it. We'll see. We get a cool end of the episode, like still of her putting that parade on. Bravery is what I choose. And they song at the end. She faces the music from everybody, has the gall to ask for their names. Theo has the like self. There's a word for this, and it's not coming to my brain, but the strength of character to like go ahead and reveal some things about himself and be the first one to give a name. Good. That's cool. That's excellent. That's a really good way to explore the relationship between something like this, you know? To explore the relationship of this, yes. I don't know if I made a good sentence there. Whatever. I do a lot of that kind of stuff. We get that there are some, as I called it earlier, noble swine who do decide to go ahead and join the military from the forefront. Cool. As a Republic citizen. We air out everything that we thought of Lena from earlier before. My bad. Also, we have the presence of mind to actually go ahead and say, yo, but you should really get out of here because you're way too nice. And she continues on anyway. And we respect her for that. Fair enough. So you're a moron too, huh? Yes, she is. The fool indeed. Of course, Shin has to tell her his name. Shorei Nozen. And Dulahan is his symbol. Is his call sign. I wonder if that has something to do with your head and your body being separated from each other, and that's going to be a metaphorical thing later. Couldn't be. Nah, never. Huh? What? What? The metaphor being his call sign being separating your head from your body and blah blah blah. Never. Couldn't be. It's going to be something about the Headless Horseman. I'm sure it was just something cool they picked. Okay, so I have this at 3 times speed, so this is like super hard for me to make out here. But we get these flashes of, strangely enough, someone with red hair. Isn't quite what I would think, but okay. Somebody strangling somebody else. Who knows what that means? And we get Shin's smile. And now this is I'm gonna put my storytelling hat on here and say, so in episode 2 we got a Shin smile. And that's my thumbnail. In that episode, Shin's smile wasn't of happiness. It was very ominous. It was very malicious. So I'm interested in what kind of feelings he has towards his brother. Is that supposed to be pure smile that we don't focus on the eyes for to make it ominous because we don't know exactly what kind of emotion that smile is supposed to have? Or is that what it actually seems like it's supposed to be, and it's some sort of ominous smile? Feelings that we don't exactly know. It's interesting. So yeah, that's the episode. That's what I have talked about. Yeah, that was a long tale. It looks like it's going to be another 40 plus, 50 plus, who knows, discussion. But it was a nice one. Again, I have long discussions in every episode of the show so far. I think that's really telling of its pacing, especially since from this week I've actually had 2 rather short discussions, just because partially me trying to shove episodes out the door, but also because, you know, watching Haikyuu and Spy X Family, and they don't have quite as much interesting things to talk about. So that's gonna be it from me. I have been the Antagonist Advocate. If you liked what you've seen so far, go ahead and hit me with the like button. If you, please leave me a comment. Love to hear them. Need more material to go through this with. Obviously, I need more material because, you know, these 40-minute discussions about racism and good narrative characterization blows and all that clearly isn't giving me enough material. Please slow down, show. And yeah, hit that subscribe button if you aren't already. I'm guessing if you've gotten to this far into the episode that you're probably somebody who subscribed to me. If not, hey, whatever. But yeah, have a beautiful day.